Hi, and welcome to the debut of my video log and a Q&A session. I have received some questions over the past few months, and I received those same questions over and over again, so I thought I would take this opportunity to kind of introduce myself and let you see who I am and kind of put a face with a name for those of you who don't know me, and answer some of your questions. So I really like to get questions from readers, and I love answering them, so keep them coming. I have, I think, about 5 that I'm going to answer today. So the first one is, how did I get started in writing? And I get this one a lot. I have always been writing. Ever since I learned how to write in elementary school, I have been writing in journals, I have been writing poetry, I've been writing short stories. I've always been writing in my free time. It wasn't just something that I was required to do in school like a lot of us, but I was always writing in my notebooks at home and that kind of thing. When I became a teenager, I wrote a lot of really bad poetry to get me through the horrible teenage angst that I went through. And when I was about in my mid-20s, I wrote my first full-length novel, and I affectionately call it my trunk novel because it should never see the light of day. I actually still have it in the garage somewhere, and trust me, it will never be published. But it was my first opportunity to write a full-length novel and to get some criticism and that kind of thing, which I think was really good. It took me about, I would say, another 10 years before I tried it again. And I wrote, probably about 7 years ago, I tried my luck again and wrote a memoir about the early part of my life. And then about 5 years ago, I started writing novels again. And in the last 5 years, I've written 7, going on 8 novels. And I'm in the process of publishing all of them. I've already published 2, and I'm in the process of publishing the others. The next question is, who are my favorite authors? And I kind of think that asking me to pick my favorite author is kind of asking me to pick my favorite child. But I do have some inspiration for my writing. The first, I love Nicholas Sparks, of course, and I love Jennifer Weiner. Nicholas Sparks, and if I pronounced her last name wrong, I apologize. But Nicholas Sparks, he's a very romantic, emotional writer. He makes me cry every book. And Jennifer Weiner, she makes me laugh and cry, or laugh until I cry. And so I really like her writing as well. I also have read all of the Stephenie Meyer books. I like Diana Gabaldon, I believe is how you say her last name, Kristen Hanna, and I love Gregory Maguire and the Wicked series. So those are basically the top. If I had to choose my top, 6? Those would be the ones that I would choose. I also got the question, do I have a favorite book? And that one is, yes, absolutely, I have a favorite book. It is The Year the Horses Came by Mary Mackey. If you ever get a chance to read the book, it is a beautiful story and one of the most unique books I have ever read. I absolutely love it and recommend it. The next question is, how do I come up with ideas for my books? Well, the ideas for my books come in a lot of different ways. It could be a person that I meet, something that I experience, it could be a song on the radio, it could be pretty much anything. For example, I recently was watching a television show, and this really minute detail of one of the characters kind of struck me. And from there, while I was watching the television show, the idea just began to spin in my mind. And from there, I just kind of, came up with a character, came up with a storyline, and it just snowballed and went from there, and is actually the next full-length novel I'm working on. But the ideas, when I get one, they will literally keep me up at night until I at least write the main outline of the book down. Otherwise, every lull I have, if I'm daydreaming, I'll be thinking about it. If I'm driving in the car, I'll be thinking about it. Even if I'm trying to sleep, I'll be thinking about it. So most of the time, I know that when I get a book idea, I better get it down on paper so that it won't keep me up at night. The next question is, how do I write a book? And, there's a lot of people out there who want to write books, and I understand. I mean, it's a pretty exciting career, and, it's not all it's cracked up to be. There's some difficult moments, and every person, I think, has a different process. For me, it starts with one of those ideas, and I just kind of write down the basic premise, the characters, and that kind of thing. I sometimes give them names right away, and sometimes I wait. I don't necessarily come up with a title right away either. Sometimes I have the title before I ever have the book idea. But most of the time I won't have the title until I'm well into writing the book. And from there I start, I take the premise of the book and I start outlining it. Basically it's just a free write where I just bullet list of things I want to happen in the book. Then I start organizing it into chapters and just, kind of come up with ideas. I'll talk it out with my husband or something like that. And then, I go through it and I divide it up into chapters. And I know that if I don't have at least a half a page of bullet items per chapter, I don't have enough to write yet. And I need to not write because I'll just drive myself crazy. So I need to come up with some more, action and some more ideas for each scene before I start writing. And from there, I'm old school. I kick it old school in the fact that I handwrite all of my books. First drafts are always handwritten. And after the first draft is done, I print off, after I've typed it in, I print off the entire book and I go through it again by hand. I edit all of my books by hand because, I don't know, it's just something about, the pen to paper. That's quite a ritual for me. So, I have, all authors have their quirks. When I'm editing, I have to be watching a Harry Potter movie. So as you can imagine, I've seen the Harry Potter series, I can't even count how many times. I can have it playing in the background and I know every line, I know what's going on without even having to pay attention. But there's something about the Harry Potter movies that just adds to my, it just adds to my inspiration. So I'm always watching a Harry Potter movie when I'm editing. When I'm writing, I can watch other things. I can watch other movies or have music playing in the background, whatever is kind of striking me that day. But editing, I have no idea why, but it's Harry Potter. And then the last question I got, which I've gotten from a few different people, is do I want my books made into movies? I would dare say that every author would absolutely love to see their book made into a movie, to see it on the big screen, and I am just like all of them. I actually, when I'm writing a book, I will cast my book before I begin writing it. And sometimes it's famous movie actors, other times it's people I know in my life, but either way, every single person in my book is someone that I know or someone that I've seen on TV. For example, Turning Point, which is out now, I cast Carrie Russell from Felicity as Belle, just because I really see her, I see Belle as this understated beauty who, she is absolutely gorgeous, but she doesn't act like she knows she's gorgeous, and she's very understated and very sweet. And Derek is Eric Bana, because he scares the crap out of me. I can't explain why. I've only seen him as a bad guy one time in a movie. He was the villain in the first Star Trek movie. But, other than that, he's always played a pretty good guy, but there's just something about him that scares that crap out of me. So he was Derek. And so, that's what I do. I go through and I just cast my book as the people that I know that have inspired me in my life. So that's it for the first Q&A session. If you have a question for me, feel free to send me an email through the Contact Me page on my website. And, I love to get questions from readers. And I will do, when I get a bunch of questions again, I'll do another session like this real soon. All right? Have a good day. Happy reading, everyone. Bye.